This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city, and yes, just made it. Just made it. But we're live on this beautiful Thursday. This is my kind of weather. A couple degrees warmer, but beautiful nights, good for sleeping. Days are just gorgeous, and a beautiful spring it's been. We've had a beautiful display of forsythia, and then the rhododendrons are out, and we had lilacs and tulips, and everything this year is just spectacular. Unfortunately, that deep freeze that we got, they're speculating that it ruined all of the stone fruit, so anything with a stone in it. So nectarines or peaches or anything with a stone in it, they're saying probably going to miss the season because of the severe cold. So that's kind of what's happening. Anyway, we got three guests today, lots to talk about. We also want to make sure we brief you in on Memorial Day, so important, and then a couple of things at the end we want to update you on, and then that hour will be gone. But in the meantime, let's go to talking about quick and sharp. Let's go right over to Art from the Art Report.
Yes, and with Memorial Day, today I was at Home Depot, and I want to tip my hat off to Home Depot. I haven't seen this anywhere else, and I was elated that they had a separate parking areas with signs on them, veterans only. Just like you have the signs that say handicap parking. Well, these said veterans parking. How about that?
I think it's a great idea.
I do too. And you know, I was seated in the car and watching and waiting, and every pickup and or car that pulled in there, they were clearly veterans. They not only got out wearing the hats, but they had a sticker on the rear window, the Army, Marines, whatever. And I said, you know, what a nice touch that is. You know, because a number of them had a little bit of difficulty walking. So it was just an added incentive for them to go there because now they know they're going to have a place to park and not a long walk. And that just tickled me. I thought it was wonderful.
I like it.
Now,
yes.
And another one, I was down a week ago on the other side of town, Walmart area, Ricky's Towing, down by there, and I'm sitting in the car, and it wasn't a holiday. It was a Tuesday. And around 10 o'clock in the morning, I could not believe the traffic, not only coming into Leominster, 2 and 3 lanes wide, but the same going out. And I said, we're like a hub of activity at that particular point in our city's landscape. Mm-hmm. But it shows you how it's a sign of success as far as I'm concerned, because everybody was coming in here to do something, and those that were leaving were either going to do something or they're taking something with them. It was just a beehive.
Well, sometimes people get upset because a new bank opens or a credit union. That is a signal that there's money around. Small business, mostly. Small business today is defined, 500, 1,000 people or less. And that's what it means when you see banks and credit unions around. That means there's money. Now, maybe not for us, but that just means there's small business. All my small businesses we've had for 39 years, every one of them, we've never done business with anyone other than local people.
That's a good point. You know, banks don't just build them unless there's money around.
They just
clearly
close.
That's what keeps them going.
Right, they just close. Right, not enough loans. There aren't enough lines of credits. There aren't enough small business loans. There's not enough of anything, a commercial line of credit, whatever it is, a mortgage, a 10-year loan, 5-year, no, whatever. But yeah, they just leave. They just close up and leave.
And in closing, I'd like to comment and thank you, because I know you were part of it, the coordination of the lights on 13 from Baker Cadillac. I still call it Baker. Baker. Up through 13. If you time it just right and you're coming from downtown and you hit the light green just before the barracks, you're going to hit them all green. It's just a nice flow now.
Hopefully they've
going through.
Hopefully they've got it straightened out. Well, I got to talk to the District 3 commissioner tomorrow, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I'm noticing a lot more people are starting to behave when it comes to going from 3 lanes to 2, headed towards Whalum.
Zip, zip, right? One car, next one in, zip, next one, like pulling up your zipper in your coat, right? One tread, one tread, one tread.
Yeah. And I understand that Whalum's making a comeback at Doyle Field this summer.
Yes, we're going to have a little gathering there. It's a couple of days, and working with a company in the western part of the state. They've been out here a couple times. Nice people, and it hopefully get good weather. And it's we try to do it just this is a good segue, and then I got to run. But we try to do it along the lakefront, and there's just not enough room. They need 60 feet, and we just don't have it and able to keep traffic open. But what we might do is rent a Ferris wheel, and then set up the Ferris wheel for 3, 4, 5 days down there, and you know, the reflection off the lake of the lights and everything would be pretty cool. So little by little, little by little.
That would be. Are they going to, when they set up all the rides and stuff? Where's that? Are going to be adjacent to the tennis courts?
Yes. Yeah, and
that's
then
a good spot. A lot of room, and parking's good.
Yeah, and the Whalum group will be there to, you know, they have things to sell, and shirts and paraphernalia and collectibles and artifacts. So yeah, it'll be fun.
And I have never seen, other than Thanksgiving Day football, so many parked cars playing that paddleball game over at the tennis court.
Yeah, get your paddle ready.
It's amazing.
Yes.
I mean, it's packed with cars and people.
It's a big sport. In fact, now they're going indoors, so they have year-round. I think Tom Brady invested in an indoor facility. So, yeah, it's a big, big thing.
We have a very successful city and city management that keeps that ball rolling.
Yes.
Keep up the good work.
We're on the move. We're on the groove.
Okay.
Thank you, Art, from the Art Report.
You're welcome.
Yes, and so we'll tell you more about that. We'll get some guests on prior to the event at Doyle, but right now we're kind of, you know, finishing out the month and Memorial Day and a couple other things that are happening. But we're going to take a short break, and then we're coming right back. Yes, we are.
Down for us?
Yeah. 100. 5, 3, 2, 1. Hey! We also have a citation for you. Did a beautiful job in here when you first came into my office, and we talked about this. I couldn't imagine what launch would be. A launch is a lot of money, I can tell you that. They made a significant investment here, and they got a great team. And thank you for investing here in our city, and it's a beautiful, safe, and clean place for them to come. And so stop down here to launch. We might get a chance to kind of, on our cable show, talk about what it is. And
the city's been fabulous. The mall property owner has been fabulous. It's been our goal, my wife and I, to bring something back to the community. There's been too many things in our mind leaving and changing and closing, and we finally decided it was time to do something different, bring something back, a fun, family, safe environment that everybody can enjoy. And that was our goal, and I think we've done okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
There you go, at launch. Go down here, and you could do a lot down here, right? Did you guys do anything while you were down here that day? Did you launch on the
Keith was jumping all over the place.
trampoline? Yeah, Keith's a wild man when you let him out. He gets out of control. Scott, bring him up. Bring that man under control. Anyway, we had a good time. It's spectacular inside, and they did just a beautiful job in there. Anyway, Marissa Fratoni is with me this afternoon. A holistic nurse, mama, RN, yoga teacher, wellness coach, writer, all of that. So pretty interesting.
Thank you.
Welcome to our show. And for 20 years, you've been helping people walk their own healing paths while accounting for each individual's own needs as a human being and a whole human. So that means everybody's a little bit different.
Yeah.
What works for one person might not work for the other. And you
Sure.
do a whole lot of trying to figure out just what works, help people to figure out what works for them.
Yeah, I like to help people discover tools that might help them find their way to a healing path or improve quality of life. It's a great passion of mine, obviously.
But you have lots of hats.
I do.
So you have lots to share.
I do.
In terms of, hey, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's try, now that we've done that, let's move to this and let's try that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, but it's a holistic way. I mean, you try to stay away from pharmaceuticals and unless they're necessary.
Yeah.
But there's always other things, or sometimes you try those other things.
I mean, I think, I'm not a prescriber. So, sometimes I work with a client who are on medications.
Right.
And so, in that regard, I just help them understand, how maybe something we're implementing might interact with their meds.
Right.
That comes with, the plant medicine piece. But otherwise, yeah, a lot of what I do is, really yoga and mindfulness based. So I help people learn how to breathe, because believe it or not, we're not great at breathing in our
Right.
culture.
Well,
a lot of
because
us,
we don't think about it.
we don't think about it, no, but you have this really,
A natural
you can,
thing that just happens in your body.
yeah, you
without
literally
even
have a
thinking about it.
relaxation response that you can elicit with deep belly breaths.
Right. And if you can calm your breathing down, you can calm your adrenaline down, right?
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
if you could do that,
Yeah.
and for people with anxiety, you can kind of like calm, this is the way we're going to calm down. Our breathing is going to help to
Yeah.
bring it down. And then you take the fear out of it, or the adding anxiousness to anxiousness, and it's just the mouse running through the
Yeah.
wheel here, the hamster running through the wheel.
Yeah.
And you can teach that. It's a learned technique.
It is, but it doesn't take very long to learn it, and it doesn't take long to implement a practice, So 5 minutes a day is where I help people start, and it can be a real game changer for people.
What are the things that, after you've been doing it for so long, that you're most surprised by? Things that work that you're like, wow, this is like, that you've seen patients or clients benefit from, that you're like really astonished at?
I would say when people just start tuning inward and getting to know themselves a little bit better, instead of, I've seen people, really get involved in the medical system and not, navigate that, with all the issues that it causes,
So side effects,
Yeah, and also just
not listening to your body when
Exactly.
you don't feel good, and you
Yeah.
just wait until you fall down, or
Yeah.
it's really bad, and then you finally go.
And I think culturally we're like, we're all about what can work for me outside of me, but you tell people to tune in and that light bulb goes off. And I think that's the most powerful thing that I've seen. Maybe not the most weird or unique thing, but it's certainly one of the most empowering things I've seen for people.
So if people connect with you, do they meet you somewhere, or do you have a facility somewhere where they can, is this a one-on-one?
So, I've been on Zoom for years now because of COVID.
Yeah. And you can do a lot on Zoom. Half the meetings I have now, a lot of them are productive. Some aren't.
Yeah.
But some are.
Yeah.
Very productive.
Yeah.
What used to be a 2-hour meeting is now 40 minutes.
Right, yeah. And then I have an event coming up on June 3rd at One World Acupuncture. So I do workshops throughout the region.
Good idea.
So that workshop, we're going to be exploring the physiological system that helps people might use, say, cannabis for to improve their health and well-being. And we're going to do yoga and meditation, and it's going to be from 10 to 11:30 at One Word Acupuncture on June 3rd. People can come and.
What's the address there so people know?
They're on Central Street.
Okay.
It's,
the cannabis is something that people, I hear people like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And other people like, cannabis? What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Can this really work?
Yeah.
Tell us your experience with your Cannabis Nurse Association, and that's a national group.
The American Cannabis Nurses Association is a 501(c)(3) charity organization. It is a national group. They just had their conference in Denver, Colorado. I was involved with them for a few years. I'm still involved, but I stepped off of the board at the beginning of this year. That group the main goal of that group is to educate other health professionals about the endocannabinoid system and cannabis medicine. In the way that we've done the cannabis programs, we've put the cart before the horse. So people are getting their information from people who aren't qualified health professionals.
Or self-medicating, or just kind of
people are
trying it on their own. I've heard this, so I'm going to try that.
Exactly.
Without in any direction.
Right, yes. And cannabis is, there's a lot of stigma around it. There's a lot of misunderstanding. But it is a substance, and every substance has can have a therapeutic benefit. Sure. It also has risks.
What did you learn from? What are the things you're surprised that cannabis has done for your client, your clients and patients? And
the wide range of relief that cannabis can promote in someone is remarkable. I've had so many patients that they're unicorns. They have run the gamut of what the medical system can help with. They've been told by doctors that they can't be helped with, sometimes conventional medicine, sometimes this specialty. And with the right oversight and guidance, people that have all sorts of disease states see improvement in them. So it's a neuroprotectant and antioxidant.
Right.
So it can really help with anything that affects the neurological and nervous system, and it can affect anything that causes inflammation.
Right.
So,
which is just about everything.
It's just about everything.
I know when they always say, don't eat foods that that cause inflation. Well, just about everything does today.
Yeah.
You really watch what you eat, because almost everything does.
Yes.
And that affects everything. Arthritis. It affects how you feel all day. It affects everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Sugar is highly inflammatory. A lot of most processed foods are highly inflammatory. One thing about cannabis is, the raw plant actually has a balance of proper omegas, which our bodies needs to reduce inflammation. So, one thing I like people to understand about cannabis is it's not all about getting impaired. Right. There's a lot to it.
So that scientifically there are a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we spend more time picking out a piece of furniture than we do on our own personal health and our own care. And we should spend a little more time kind of figuring things out. But that's what you do. You help people to figure out what works, help them to understand their body, so that they understand what they're eating and consuming, and stress and everything in life, that there's a better balance.
Yeah.
And you help them with that.
I do, And my goal is to always help people start from let's use the tools that you have before we add something else in. Let's see if some meditation will work for you. Let's see if a breathing regimen will work for you. Let's see if some yoga or chair yoga. I try to make things as accessible as possible for people. So let's start there, and then I can help you navigate, the cannabis program and get you to the healthcare providers that are knowledgeable, so that you can have the best outcome.
Where do people reach you if they'd like?
They can reach me. I'm largely online, but you can reach me. My name is Marissa, Marissa, at holisticnursemama.com.
I got it right here. And if anybody doesn't get it tonight, let us know at my office and we'll get it to you.
Yeah. And you can also Google my name, Marissa Fratoni.
Yeah, you pretty much come up pretty quick.
I do.
And then you've done some writing.
I do, yeah. I was a contributing author for the first nursing textbook on cannabis.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. That's how I saw you. That's how we saw you come across.
Cool.
In that area, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, hey, we got to get her on as a guest.
Yeah, thank you. And then, yeah, I've had articles published in the cannabis and the wellness spaces. So.
Did we forget anything?
I don't think so.
No, I mean, it's person by person. You've got a lot of experience, 20 years of experience. And I mean, come on, holistic nurse, mama, RN, yoga teacher, wellness coach, writer.
Yeah.
I mean, you've earned some street credibility, right?
Thank you.
So, and so that's how you can reach out to her, holisticnursemama.com.
Yep, that's
And
my
if not,
website.
and you can't find it in 2 days from now, you think about it, or next week. And what was that? We repeat the show, but if you can't find it, we're on demand. But if you can't find it then, the easy way is to call my office. We keep all this information. Well, thank you very much
Great.
for
Thank
coming
you.
on with us.
Appreciate
and
it.
We're going to take a short break, and look at that already. We're just flying through this. I got to do a little bit of deep breathing here because I tend to go longer, and then they're waving in the back going, oh, we got to wrap this up. And I need to calm down, you guys. Deep breath, hold your breath, breathe in once, hold it, let it out slowly. We'll be right back.
And in here, we built the chief's office, the 2 secretaries, then we have fire prevention, a little kitchenette for ourselves. Across the hall, we got a 5-room house. This room on this side is full of medical supplies and the stuff for the ambulances to come in and gather. In here, we got a 5-room house. This originally started, we got the plastic on the wall so they could fill one room with smoke. And they could find my buddy that you never know where he's gonna be hiding. But when they come in, they kick the walls. We didn't want to ruin sheetrock. So we put the plywood up so they could do it. Once we got it done and you close the doors, it's totally dark. You can't see each other in here. So they made it lifelike. It's a bedroom. And they teach the guys how to crawl through the wall if they had to. So we put sheetrock in so we wouldn't waste a lot of sheetrock. Got wires in it just like a regular house would have. They break the sheetrock, they're only going to replace one piece. They can set it up different ways. We can head this way to one more trailer. So you got 2 there and you got 5 over here. It's kind of neat. And then in this room here, we have a couple of props set up. Teach them how to jump out a window the proper way so they don't get hurt. So this is where they wash their Scott tanks, fill their Scott tanks. So after a fire, they have to wash their backpacks. So they put it in this machine, just a big dishwasher. They wash them, put them in storage, fix them if they're broken. And then we get this machine that fills the tanks.
When we're back here inside Leominster, we're live this afternoon, 978-534-1626. And a footnote, Joe Poirier is the city electrician, wire inspector. And if you get a chance to watch that, you guys have been showing it or you're going to show it and you can get it on demand. But it's a whole tour that I think Keith and did with Joe Poirier and tour through the new fire headquarters, 210 Lancaster Street, the old Lancaster Street School, the old museum, across from St. Anna's School, but across the street from the other side, the other corner from the church. And it's now the headquarters for the administrative offices, a training center, and it's also the 911 dispatch center for both police and fire. And Joe takes you through a tour, and it's pretty interesting. So if you can catch it, we're showing you a little teaser, so hopefully you can catch it later on. All right, as I said, 978-534-1626. About a half hour to go, a lot to do. But Kaitline Volpe is here with me, and she is running for Ward 3 School Committee.
Yep.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
How's it going?
Oh, it's great.
And you've got 2 kids, so they're in the school system.
Yes.
It's nice to have parents and people that have kids in the system, and I know you're active in the system and you're active with your kids and everything, so
I am.
that's good. So something apparently made you decide that you were going to run for school committee.
Yes, I want to be more involved.
You watch the meetings and stuff all the time.
I watch the meetings and...
Do you yell through at the meetings like, hey, you! No!
I've spoken at a lot of meetings in prior years. So, yeah, I got interested when COVID hit, basically.
Yeah.
They decided not to open schools or to close schools down for a little while after our 2-week break.
A little while?
Well,
it seemed like
2
a million
weeks.
years.
Yeah, well, when they finally decided to close it.
Some of these kids had mustaches when they came back to school.
Yes, it was too long.
They were blowing bubbles, and next thing you know, they got goatees coming back to school.
Yeah. So, when we saw that was not, that they were not going to open schools back up, it was pretty infuriating for us.
Let me take this call. Caller, welcome to the show.
No.
Hey, Crystal, we're going to be doing a grand opening, the ribbon cutting of the new and improved Hannaford's.
Hannaford.
On Lancaster Street.
Lancaster Street.
What time, 9 o'clock or something?
Yeah.
I told Mark, I said, Mark, can we do it early, like maybe 5 o'clock in the morning? Because I got to get moving, I said. And he said, no, we nobody's up. The store isn't open. I said, okay, we'll do it at 9.
Yeah, all the big people came today.
Oh, yeah? Big shots came?
Yep.
All right. For inspection, did they run around with the white glove?
And they're going to give us El Camino for lunch.
Really? Oh, so they waited till Saturday. What do I get?
Ask Mark.
Ice scraper? Yeah, see if Mark's got an extra ice scraper in there for me.
Yeah, and they give us a raise now.
That's right. I can find everything. All right, we'll see
talk to you later, buddy.
We'll see you Saturday. Thank you.
Yep, bye.
So your position at Health Alliance is point of care coordinator.
Yes.
What's that mean?
So I'm a lab tech, a medical laboratory technologist.
Did they come over the speaker? Kaitline Volpe, the point of care coordinator, report to Section 9?
Yes.
Is that what they do?
No.
So what's it mean?
So basically, I'm a medical laboratory scientist. I was trained.
A medical laboratory scientist.
That is my official, graduated title. So
that sounds important.
It's working with, in core lab, working with analyzers, major analyzers, doing blood testing. I'm now doing point of care testing or point of care coordinating. I'm in charge of all the small meters, handheld meters on the floors that nursing is in charge of. Or that they use to do testing at the bedside with the patient.
Wow.
So
today, healthcare is just incredible.
Yes.
At the same time, it's sometimes they can't find employees or they can't find doctors. Nurses. They're saying there's I don't know how many tens of thousands of nurses are saying, yeah, I'm all done. I'm retired. I'm just about done.
It's hard.
And so but we're making so much in the advancements in so many different areas, and technology's certainly been our friend.
Yes.
And so you take your skills and your involvement in the schools and your passion for education, and you decided, hey, that'd be a great addition. And we have a good school committee. I mean, there's some really good people.
We really do. Yeah.
We weren't always this way, and even though there are people with different opinions, somehow or another, everybody respects everybody's opinion. At the end, we agree where we can agree. Sometimes we modify things, but we always leave as friends.
Yep.
Always. We never leave. Nobody, not once. Now this is, we're 18 months into 19 months into this, our group's, tenure, and not once did anybody leave upset or not saying goodbye to the rest of. I mean, it's a really good work, and people from all backgrounds, variety of
totally different backgrounds, yeah.
Different age, most of them have kids in school, my grandchildren, but everybody has somebody at a different level, so you kind of get a little bit of everything from everybody, and special needs, and it's really been It's been a good group.
It has been. It really has.
So you're off and running. You're not wasting any time. And if there are any candidates that are interested, I say all the time, let us know. We'll get you on. But you're hitting the road quick.
I'm looking forward to it.
Did you get your papers taken out and filled out and turned in?
I did.
Already?
I did.
It's only May.
I know.
So you already got them signed? You went banging on doors and
everything's done.
Meeting people?
You know, get my, my face out there more now. I want to be out and, involving myself in different activities and making myself known.
And interesting enough, in your ward, where you live, we're going to be doing something with Fallbrook School. We're not sure because the process hasn't allowed us the opportunity to get that far.
Yep.
But we're going through the, the feasibility part of it all, which is looking at whether or not we'll take that school and build another one, or renovate that one with an addition, maybe.
Yeah.
So we're going through with the process. So it's an important time.
It's exciting, yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Did we forget anything?
I don't think so.
No?
Just I'm out there and I'll get myself out there.
It is important, and in a lot of cases, I'll talk to other mayors, and they're like, we're having a hard time finding people to run, for school committee and to run for some of these other offices, and literally after the election, there was some that they have to appoint because there's nobody ran for the office. We got to get that community spirit back out there that, this is important. And to be honest with you, meetings have been very productive. Subcommittees do their job. Everybody goes, we go right around. Everybody gets to say something, and we debate the issue and think about it. And sometimes we're like, you know what? Let's give it a little more time. Let's talk to some more people, give it a little more time. And that's the way, things should get done. And I think overall we do a decent job.
Yes, we do.
If you could change one thing in the school system, what would it be?
Oh boy.
It's one of many, because every day something's new, either new technology or...
Transparency, making sure that everybody knows what's going on at all times.
Yeah.
Parents need to be informed at all times as to what's going on with their kids in the school, and to make decisions and to make sure that they're aware so that they can help and talk to the teachers and make everybody else aware as well.
Somebody reached out to me the other day on some school issue. It wasn't nothing big. They just wanted me to check into something. And there are so many mailboxes. And a couple hours went by, and I'm like, let's see, did she email me, Facebook me, message me, Twitter me? There's all these, I'm like, I don't remember now. So I had to go back and check all these places. There are many ways to get the information out.
There are.
And this is one way right here that I chose to use early on. Yeah. And the newspapers are a way, but not as powerful as they used to be. So you have to look for other ways to push the message out using social media. And we have a radio station here in Leominster. I go on the one. I mean, just saying, you have to use all of that, because at one time, everybody read the newspaper.
Yeah.
And they get all their information from there. Yeah. Well, that's not the case anymore.
People get their information in different ways, for sure.
Exactly.
So.
And even the school committee, now we have that kind of hybrid where you can attend a school committee meeting, or you can watch it at home on TV. And that's actually increased the amount of people that...
I bet it has.
Because especially if you're a mom or dad and you're home and you worked all day and you're home, it's like people want to eat, you got to do this, you got to clean up, the kids got to get ready, make sure, right? And then how do you break your way to get to a school committee meeting?
Put it on while you're cooking, while you're eating.
Exactly. So that's a good use of the technology.
Yeah, it is.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks
and we'll
for
have you on
having me.
again if you choose. Just let us know. But as I said, any of the candidates that's running for any office are more than welcome to come on in.
Great.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a shot. How do people reach you? You have anything set up where you want to share?
I do. I have a page on Facebook. So it's Kaitline Volpe for Ward 3 School Committee. So you can go on there, join it, like it, and ask me any questions you want to ask. I do have an email address, and it's Kaitline Volpe, leominstersc@gmail.com. So you can feel free to reach out and ask.
I find if you Google everything, you pop up.
Yep.
It's so current today with Google and all the search engines that anything that happens within a second, bang, if you're there anywhere, it's going to come up. Or somebody else named Kaitline Volpe in East Wyoming.
I don't know. Are there any people like that?
I don't know. You haven't Googled yourself.
I haven't tried that yet.
All right, we're taking a short break here at Inside Leominster. We'll be right back. And then we'll update you on some other things that are happening. And then again, it's Memorial Day weekend. And I know it's going to be a beautiful weekend, and people are thinking about, I've already, even on the highway today, I can see the people with their RVs and the campers. But they no longer leave on like Friday Then it was Thursday. They leave yesterday. I could see people like getting ahead. I gotta get out soon because you know what happens if you don't.
Yep.
It'd be a nightmare. But it's supposed to be a good weekend. But I want to make sure we remind everybody of the different exercises we have going on in town for Memorial Day. If you can make it to one or some, or maybe just get down to decorate a grave, and that's how Memorial Day started. We'll be right back.
When you walk into the room, you have the supervisor's room in the center in the rear, and it's designed so that the supervisor has visual contact with both the police side and the fire side and can oversee the operations and the personnel. On the police side, which is this side of the room, noted by the blue lights up in the ceiling, there's 4 dispatcher pods, we call them. And normally they're staffed with 3 dispatchers, which have 3 911 phones ring. I'm going to turn it over to Jay and let him kind of explain the police side.
So here right now, we have a setup, 6 monitors. There's normally 2 more, which is State 911, which will be coming in later on this week. We have access to downtown cameras, our CAD system, basically anything dispatch could possibly need is right in front of them. These new consoles suit anybody from 4 feet tall to 8 feet tall. Because we work 8, 12, 16 hours a day, you don't want to be sitting in a chair. So during your shift, you can sit, you can stand, you work right from here. Has heating systems. Also has fans and air conditioning up on top, climate control. So dispatch is comfortable at all times. As you know, a lot of people like different temperatures. They run cold, they run hot. Ambient lighting for at night. So night dispatchers, of course, will turn the lights down. We have the blue ambient light, which also changes colors to white, whatever they prefer. And the ambient lighting underneath, so they don't have to have white lights hurting their eyes, etc. in the middle of the night.
On the fire side, we're using 2 dispatch. We have 2 spares for future expansion. Same thing, we have TVs on the wall. This one here is a map of the city. That's going to give the district, so we can see where the trucks are, where the calls are.
There you go. And I really do. Thanks for watching. Thanks for welcome back. But thanks, for watching, and thanks for your support. We appreciate it. The people in community and our taxpayers have been extremely supportive of the work that we've done, and now we have a modern, state-of-the-art facility in an old building that was built as an elementary schools, probably in the late 1800s, and still serving the taxpayers of the city. And we're back here at Inside Leominster. And guess who's back? But Brian Downey is back, and as you remember, he had his daughter on, Victory, and at the time he was raising awareness and raising money for the hospital, and you've had great success.
Yes.
And it's tough because not everybody finishes the marathon. It's a long way. When I get on my GPS and I see how far away something is, and I see it's like 24 miles, I'm like, wow, it's going to take me like 35 minutes to get there. And I think that's people out there running this marathon.
I could literally run from my house to the Boston Children's Hospital.
And that's how many miles?
That's a little over, but it's roughly around the same.
That's phenomenal.
I wouldn't be able to run back though. Somebody would have to come get me.
Well, I heard there were some running groups that when I used to run, there were some running groups that that I'd run with sometimes, and they would tell me how there were people who would run to the marathon, and then run the marathon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious?
That's crazy.
You got to be. I mean, there's a certain amount of this. Like, I'll never be a basketball player, obviously, right?
Right.
But at the same time, some of these people are just built to be swimmers, built to be, linemen, built to be baseball players or pitchers or whatever, right?
Yeah. Well,
And,
there was a couple qualified runners that I found out later on that actually went to the finish line hours before the race, and they ran from the finish line to the start line.
That's what I mean, yeah.
And then they ran the actual marathon from the start to the finish line.
Unbelievable. That's subhuman.
Yeah.
Huh? So you did it.
I did it, and I want to do it again.
Were you beat at the end?
Yes.
You're dragging yourself over the line. There was no turning back.
Yeah, it was so funny because when the buses came to get us at the Boston Commons to bring us to Hopkinton, where the start line was, I'm sitting on the bus and I'm like, okay, it's just going to be a short little
What time
ride.
of morning was that?
8 o'clock.
But you got to leave your house at what time?
I left my house at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're on the bus and I'm sitting there and I'm like, a few minutes go by. I'm like, all right, I'm not there yet. It's okay. And then I'm looking out the window. I'm like, wow, man, this is like, the bus isn't stopping.
No.
Like, it's
been going for a while.
It's going and it keeps going and it's been going and I have to run all this back now.
A little flicker, huh?
I was like, okay.
But did you know about what speed you could run it so you didn't overdo it?
Yes.
I mean, you kind of knew what your barometer was, right?
Yeah, and I did enough research to know that the first few miles of the marathon are all downhill, so you don't want to overdo it.
Right.
You don't want to like subconsciously, tell yourself that you're going faster than you should normally.
So
be
you
doing.
want to time yourself. You know what you're capable of, and you want to make it. You don't want to fool yourself and then get to 15 miles and then you've exhausted yourself.
Right.
And you're against what your original plan was.
Sure.
Lots of people, lots of emotion.
Yeah.
It must feel good, all that training that goes into it, and you finish to the finish line.
I tell you, I've probably seen the longest porta potty line I've ever seen in my life over there. So many people waiting to use the bathroom before and after.
Yeah, of course. It's like you don't want to be stopping in somebody's shrubs on the front lawn, right?
There were over 30,000 runners.
Wow.
This year.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And it takes a while because they got all the pros up front. So it takes, I don't know, how long to get to where you are from the start?
So from Hopkinton, I think it's the Hopkinton Middle School or High School. That's where we go before the race starts, and then we have about a mile walk from there to the start line.
Wow, incredible!
So when we got to Boston in the morning, it was.
Can you count that mile in as your marathon mile?
On my Apple Watch, yeah, but not the official finish time. No. When we got there in the morning, it was. In Boston, it was nice and cool, and it wasn't
Perfect day,
raining.
yeah.
It was beautiful. Then when we got to Hopkinton, it was pouring rain.
Yeah.
And the stuff that you wear to Hopkinton before you start, if you're not going to wear it during the race, you have to get rid of it. You have to either donate it or throw it out or whatever, because there's no place for you to bring it.
Right, and you're not going to carry it.
Right.
Right.
And so I had like 3 layers on. I had a long sleeve shirt, and then I had another long sleeve shirt on top of that, and then a hoodie, and then my singlet. And I had the hoodie at first was over my singlet, but you can't do that during the race because your singlet has to be showing. And so I was walking to the start line, and it's pouring rain outside. I'm like, there's no way I'm getting rid of this. I can't get rid of this. And then as I got to the start line, it stopped raining. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to bank on it not raining anymore. So I took off the hoodie because it was very uncomfortable. And I just had a long sleeve shirt under my singlet, and that was it. And for the first 7 miles, it was perfect. And then once we got to like the Natick-Framingham area, it was pouring like crazy. I'm like, oh, should have kept the hoodie.
Were you getting cold then?
No, well, I mean, I did for the first couple minutes, but then I just got used to it.
Yeah, you're running.
So the sweat from the run kind of just
neutralizes.
Yeah.
And you stayed hydrated along the way.
Oh yeah, I was drinking water, drinking Gatorade. Kids were handing out jelly beans, and
Were people still coming out even though it was pouring?
It was.
It's a big thing.
From
It's
start to
an
finish,
event. Yeah.
From start to finish, it was. People were on top of the roofs of their houses,
Yeah.
you know, jumping
Porches
up and down and
yeah.
singing, and people were throwing me beers from the Wellesley College. It's nuts, man.
So what happens as you get closer? Does your mind start to play games on you?
Probably around. I was doing really well, up until I got to Heartbreak Hill. That was probably the hardest part of the course, and I went from running to not running, but not walking either.
Right, kind of dragging your feet kind of thing.
Yeah. And then once I got past Heartbreak Hill, I got a little momentum
going. A
going.
little boost.
Yeah, a little
because you knew that was the hard part.
Yeah.
And I've turned the corner, no pun intended.
Right, exactly.
Now, there are a lot of people that do that I knew of, that used to do the run-walk. So you run so many minutes, then you walk. Then you run, then you walk. And they actually do pretty well with it.
Yeah. I started out my training that way, but then, I don't know, I was just like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to just run the whole way, you know.
But it doesn't hurt to walk the hill sometimes.
It doesn't.
You know, you put a lot of energy out there when you walk in there. I mean, if you're not somebody that runs half marathons every month,
right.
It's not a bad formula.
No, it's not. It's definitely
Why kill
not.
yourself on the hills?
Right.
When you walk them and get your breath back, and then, right? I mean, it's probably faster.
Yeah, probably, or about the same time. You know, it was.
So you made it through. I mean, when you saw the finish line, that had to be kind of a relief.
I was crying the whole way through at different parts of the race, especially when it first started, because the Boston Athletic Association has a racing app, and you know, I shared that app with friends and family.
Yeah, all morning long. Yeah.
So like they could track me, and as soon as it started and we crossed the start line, I got a notification on my phone that said, Brian Downey is now running the 127th Boston Marathon.
Oh.
And I was just like, this is like really happening. And all I could think about was victory and everything and everybody that I was running for and all the people that donated to help me do that. And all throughout the race, I was just overwhelmed at different points.
Yeah, I bet.
And just crying. But that finish line, man, that's a dream come true.
Yeah. Well, you see it all. It just sort of explodes in front of you like fireworks. And
Yeah.
it's like, did you give it a little juice at the end, a little boost?
I sure did.
A little rocket boost?
I did. So there was a video that I sent to Kelly to see if we could play it, but she said it wasn't possible to do tonight.
Yeah, we just had too many guests on today.
Yeah,
And then we've got
it literally showed, in my opinion, the best finish ever. So you'll have to watch it.
We'll get to watch it. Sure we will. So they gave you the medals, which are cool. I mean,
actually, this is one of the coolest stories about this. So when I crossed the finish line, they ran out of medals.
Really?
Yes. They ran out of medals, and I finished in under 6 hours, so my time wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
And one of the volunteers that was
What do you mean,
there-
if it's over 6 hours, you don't get a medal?
Well, that's the rumor. I mean, the rumor is like if you finish after like 6 hours or longer, I don't know. People were saying that there's a chance that you might not get one.
Really?
But everybody that I talked to
got one.
They always get one, no matter what time you finish. And so when I crossed the finish line, there was a volunteer there, and he said that he's been doing this for 30 years, and this is the first time it's ever happened. They never ran out of medals. And so the coolest part about all this is that night I was so like disappointed. I went home and I made a post on a couple of the Boston Marathon runners Facebook groups that I'm a part of. And I said, anybody else not get a medal, with like a mad emoji face, you know? And there was a gentleman by the name of Nathan Searless. And he lives in California. He's a qualified runner. And he came to Boston to run the marathon. And either that night or the next day, he Facebook messaged me. He said that he found out about my story. He found out he was reading about Victory's life and why I was running, and Boston Children's Hospital, and he was really encouraged with our story. He was very inspired by it, and he knew that not only was it my first marathon, but it was also my first Boston Marathon on top of it. And he knew I didn't get a medal, and what he did was he offered me mine. I mean, he offered me his.
Wow.
And not only that, he was actually leaving to go back to California that day. So he was getting a flight that afternoon. So not only did he send me his medal, but before he sent it to me and before he left for California, he got it engraved.
Really?
He got my name and my finishing time on the back of it.
Wow.
And then when he got to California, he sent it to me.
Wow.
And then when I finally got my original medal that I was supposed to get when I crossed the finish line.
So they ended up getting you one.
They sent it in the mail.
Yeah.
So I sent him that one.
Wow.
But this one's special because
that's got a story behind it.
It's got a story behind it.
He heard your story,
Yes.
Victory's story.
And so now we're Facebook friends. And so I told him next year when I run it again, when we cross the finish line, not only are we going to cross it together, but we're also going to take pictures of our medals together, both of them.
Oh, cool.
So I can't wait to do that.
And Victory's doing well.
She is. And
she had a little setback, but she's doing well.
She actually got her own medal. This is Boston Children's Hospital, Miles for Miracles, Most Valuable Partner.
Wow.
And
cool.
it says on the back, it's Official Patient Partner 2023, Boston Children's Hospital. So she got her own medal as well as mine. So she's doing great.
Good.
Yeah, she's doing awesome. And as a matter of fact, our Running with Victory theme is going to continue on. And our next adventure is going to be the Red Sox sponsored and MGH sponsored Run to Home Base.
Oh, cool.
And so that benefits all military personnel, all of their families. It offers all kinds of resources for them, wellness, and also research to help them deal with PTSD from serving in the military. It helps them and their families, and also the ones that have lost their lives or have ended their own lives as well. It helps them deal with it, but it also helps them prevent it from happening too.
Speaking of veterans, this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and tomorrow night, which is Friday night, it's the White Cross ceremony. Those honoring and remembering those who never came back to our soil. And White Cross will be, we'll have a White Cross for each of them at the Veterans Center at 6 o'clock. And then if you could and you're able, on Saturday, going to be a beautiful day, get up early, 7:30, go to one of our cemeteries, Evergreen, St. Leo's, St. Cecilia's, and you can help flag. And it's very organized. It's very, very organized. And honestly, if you stay for the whole thing, you won't be there more than an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe even less. And then on Monday, which is Memorial Day. And again, we're going to have a nice weekend. So barbecues and beach and people traveling. But just a couple of minutes to remember our veterans. And maybe you get down to the cemetery and get it cleaned up and get some flowers planted. But we start at 7:15 where the veterans assemble at Veterans Center. They take a bus down to Monument Square where they post a wreath. At 8:30 at St. Leo's, 9 o'clock at St. Cecilia's, 9:30 at Johnny Rowe Park, and then at 10:30 at the Evergreen Cemetery. And then we do a parade and we march down to the Veterans Lot for for a gun salute. 11:20 to Pine Grove Cemetery, and then we ended up at 11:30 at the Memorial Circle at Carter Park. And then following is a reception at the Veterans Center for a light reception. And then on Wednesday, our friends over at the Life Care Center do a free lunch, appreciation lunch. They do this every year on Wednesday at 12 p.m. And it's a Life Care Center, and it's for veterans and their spouses. I want to tell you that the stroll this year is on June 10th. Flamingo Day is the 23rd. The Beer Garden is August 12th. Starburst is July 29th. And this summer, if you have somebody of school age, we have plenty for them to do. Even some jobs for the older kids and some college students. And Spanish American Center, the Recreation Department, the library, the school department, churches, many of the churches, and also Boys and Girls Club. We have so much planned this summer. And we want to also remind you that it's the 30th annual Relay for Life, Gardner Relay for Life, coming up at the Mount Wachusett track, Community College track up in Fitchburg, up in Gardner on Green Street. And this is the 9th and 10th. If you've never been to a Survivors Walk, this is shortly after they start the ceremony. I'd say within 20 minutes or so. They invite everyone who's a survivor, and they walk a lap, and it's quite moving, to say the least. And there are a bunch of ways to help support them and raise some money. So come on up if you get a chance. They're there all night from the 9th and 10th. Opening ceremonies again at 6 p.m. And then next Thursday starts the concerts over at Carter Park. 7 o'clock every single week, right through the summer. They're going to have concerts, including Colonial Band, Mark Marquis, etc. So I think everybody's up to speed, and get everything done. This is tomorrow. If it's trash day for you on Friday, the 26th, then get your yard waste out. And if you didn't get it out and you need to use the transfer station, go to our website, leominster-ma.gov. Tell you all about how to use the transfer station, because you can pretty much bring anything in terms of yard waste there. And speaking of that, 1 day delay for trash next week. So 1 day delay. So typically it's North Leominster Monday, then it'll be Tuesday, and then Tuesday is usually French Hill East Side. That'll be Wednesday, and so we just push it back a day. Anything else that we missed? We got 1 second left here.
1 second. Yeah, all right. So a couple things. So I have to raise $750 for the Red Sox Foundation.
Yep. That's
by July. So if anybody would like to donate towards that, runningwithvictory.com. Also, Melody Joy Payne and David Payne are doing a docuseries about me and about Victory called The Life of Victory. And so we'll be filming different parts around Leominster. So if you'd like to make a cameo appearance.
Hey, I work for chocolate ice cream. No.
And then lastly, the Dean of Leominster, I would like to dethrone you.
Wow. Watch out there. You're going to... Wow, I didn't know I was getting a medal, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Keep the cameras running for this one. No. So I get a medal?
Here you go.
For what?
Sir.
For being part of the team?
Yes.
Look at that.
Part of the
I'm
team.
not taking this off you guys.
Look at that.
Look at that. How cool. Thank you. That's wonderful. What a perfect way to end the show. Thanks for watching Inside Leominster. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. This guy did, and Victory did, and a whole lot of people. They appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
This is LTV.